करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। A sad chapter becoming sadder as we speak is the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Already he is kind of suicidal because he is questioning the very, we left him day before yesterday. Where did we leave Arjuna? Questioning the very importance of life itself. And the thinking went, see, once the thinking goes wrong, it has this, what is that called? Downward spiraling. You know it's happening, but still you cannot catch it. That is the situation this fellow is in. So what is the downward spiral here? So, Nakankshe Vijayam Krishna. I don't want victory. And then if I don't want, what is the victory for? Rajya, kingdom. I don't want victory because what am I going to do with the kingdom? And what is the kingdom for? Bhoga, sukha, to feel happy, to be blessed and to have lots of things. Kings have, lot of things. The whole treasury belongs to them, kosha. And so maybe that is what one can enjoy. No. Kim bhogaihi, kim jivitena va, kim sukhena. So what is the use of sukha? Why? Because yesham arthe kankshitam naha. Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha taimeva sthita yuddhe pranans tyaktva dhanani cha. Because for the sake of which people we would like to enjoy the kingdom, we would like to have the victory. Where are they? They are there standing as the fodder for various bows and arrows and cannons and missiles. I mean, Bhishma was, if Bhishma was in the war, he was not throwing out garlands, he was throwing out huge missiles. All of these were big, big stalwarts, Bhishma, Drona, etc. And this Arjuna is a sensitive kind, very sensitive person, a great empath. And it is good to be empathetic, but then that empathy must not overpower the intelligence, the buddhi. Intelligence here is not IQ, buddhi. It should not overpower the thinking. It's good to be empathetic. It's good to say, okay, I see your situation. I can see your difficulty. I have sympathy, empathy for your situation. I can be in your shoes and see this. But then what is not good is to get carried away with that and say, oh, you don't have a house, come and stay in my house. That also is okay, but then you don't have a place to sit, come and sit on my head. This is where somewhere it has to stop, correct? Somewhere it has to stop. And the empathy, this over empathy does not help. Drowning in the empathy is Arjuna's problem here. He has many problems, but this is the main one of them. So, drowning in the empathy means that he has lost his reason. He has lost his power of thinking properly. And here it's good to be empathetic towards a friend, right? The patram. So when you are giving something, the Upanishad says the patra, the recipient has to be properly ascertained. So if you give something, you have to, you have to see who is the receiver. And you should not give it to somebody who is not worthy of that. In English, we have an expression, casting pearls before swine. Swine means what? Yeah, polite way of saying pig. Okay. And then in front of the pig, you throw very expensive pearls. Fresh water, cultured pearls you throw. What is that going to do? Nothing. It's going to be wasted. So here also, these people are what? Atatayins. Atatayin means terrorist. And that also, everything in the Shastra has a tight definition. Agnido garadaschaiva shastronmatto dhanapaha kshetradara apaharascha shadete vidyat atatayinaha. Even if you had done one of these six characteristics are given for somebody who is a terrorist. This 6 has a very abiding presence. The number 6 has an abiding presence in the Upanishad. 6 qualifications, Shatka Sampatti, and this is also 6, like that many 6s will come. I will keep pointing them out when they come. Here is another 6, and then Agnidaha, arsonist, Garadaha, poisoner. So, does Arjuna check out the first one? Agnidaha? Did he set fire to something? No. You were sleeping in the last class when I told the story of how he put the lakh house on fire? Yeah? Now it is coming back. The problem is this Wednesday came in the middle. If the Wednesday had not come, I would have remembered. Is he an arsonist or not? Check. Yeah, what? Oh, sorry, yeah, not Arjuna. Yes, my bad. Okay, yeah. So, Duryodhana, is he an arsonist or not? Check. Okay. And I had also told you that he had poisoned Bhima when Bhima was young. Garadaha, poisoner. Is he a poisoner or not? Check. And then Shastronmatta means killing people. Unmatta means mad. Mad with weaponry, meaning killing people or going after people who are unarmed. Check. And then what else? Kshetradara haraha. Kshetrahara, dhanapaha. Taking away other people's what? Money. Yes or no? Yes. Check. Okay. And then Kshetraharaha, taking somebody's land, meaning kingdom. Yes or no? Yes. And then finally Daraharaha. Dara means wife. Taking away somebody's wife. Check. Even one of these conditions, if he had met, Duryodhana would be what? Terrorist, according to the Shastra. In fact, he is one of the rare people to fit all the 6 definitions. Yes. At least he excelled in something. Yeah. So, this is the people, he is not patra for empathy. Somebody who is this kind of a person should be put to death. The Manusmriti says, and the Shastra says that the punishment for, Dharma Shastra says that the punishment for Atatayin, meaning a terrorist, is death sentence. And here this fellow is just all like, oh, Arjuna is like, oh, my brother. Oh, my poor bro, this doesn't work. This is why the sorrow turns into delusion. Okay? So this is where we left. This is where we left last time. Let us see further. So he had a panic attack, we saw that. And then, so therefore he concludes in verse 37. Tasman narha vayam hantum dhartarashtran svabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasya madhava yadyapetena pashyanti lobhopahata chetasaha Kulakshayakritam dosham Mitradrohe cha patakam Kathan nagneyam asmabhihi Papadasman nivartitum Kulakshayakritam dosham Prapashyadbhirjanardana. So, in verse 37 he says, therefore, a very funny therefore logic. Just because you use the word therefore doesn't mean that everything that went before is logical. Yeah, it's like funny logic. It doesn't mean anything. There is an elephant in the palm of my hand. Therefore, the Ganga is in spate. Does that make any sense? Yeah. Does that have anything to do with anything? First of all, it's impossible unless we are talking of a toy elephant. Elephant cannot be in the palm of my hand. And secondly, even if that were possible, let's say there is an elephant in the palm of my hand, small toy elephant, but what does that have to do with what? The Ganga in flood. Nothing at all. So this is the kind of logic our fellow, our Arjuna is indulging in because he doesn't know better. So this is how the logic goes. He says, therefore we should not kill our swajanam na hantum. We shouldn't start to kill our own relatives. Okay. Why? Because how can we be happy destroying our own relatives? And never mind, the relatives are destroying us. Doesn't matter. That's a very big chunk of reasoning he has left out, and he has also left out his own swadharma. More about that in the next and the subsequent chapters. Swadharma means there is a duty. And what did he sign up for? War. He is signed up for the war. So he has to fight. Some people have a strange argument. They say, oh, he suddenly turned pacifist. Not true. Because all this time he was bloodthirsty. Up till the point where Lord Krishna brings him to the mouth of the battlefield, where he puts his chariot in front of the two armies, right in front of who? All the elders. Up till then he had no qualms for war. Even now, if you were to tell Arjuna, go there, vanquish all these people and come back, he will happily go. It is only this war that he doesn't want to fight. Like a child that says, I am not hungry for dal and rice. I am only hungry for dessert. Yeah, I am only hungry for chocolate. I am not hungry for dal and rice. Makes no sense. Here also, Arjuna is making no sense because Swadharma was a very big thing. Swadharma means whatever duty one has to do. And the duty here of a warrior is to fight. Even now, if somebody leaves the war, even now, after so many thousands of years, same rule is there in every military of the world, in every air force, in every navy, in any country. If you leave after you have been deployed, it's called dishonorable discharge. Dishonorable discharge. Meaning what? It is a crime. You can be tried and what is called court-martialed by a military people. The higher ups, you will have a trial and the person can be court-martialed. So this is a no. Nobody can do that. So therefore he is setting it up so that he says, why should we fight? And then he has a new angle here, starting with verse 38. He says, they don't know better. Okay, I understand that. I understand they don't know any better. Why? Because they are lobha apahata chetasaha. Apahata, kidnapped, hijacked. Their hearts, chetasaha, their hearts are hijacked by greed. Should we go to their level? This is an altruistic argument. We know better. Why should we go to their level? They are not able to see clearly. So we should take the higher road. We should not go down and play in the mud with them. We should take the higher road and absolve ourselves, because otherwise what will happen is that they don't see the problem in destroying the whole family, but then we should understand, we know that destroying the family means what? We will get grief, and then we will get papa, and then why should we understand this? We know better. We know better. Why don't we withdraw from this papa? Why don't we do that? We don't define papa as sin. Okay? There is no sin in the Hindu tradition. And it is a sin to define papa as sin. That's the only sin. So, there is no sin. It is the effects of wrong action. That's all it is. Uncomfortable effects to be endured in the here or the hereafter because of one's deeds. That's what it is. One's deeds which go against dharma. So he says, okay, they are going against dharma. Why should I go against dharma? We should know better. And then he gives this another argument. Speaking of dharma, he says in verse 40, dharma is also destroyed. How? Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kritsnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta adharma bhibhavat krishna pradushyanti kulastriyah srishu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankarah sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanan kulasya cha patanti pitaro hyesham lupta pindodaka kriyah doshairetai kulagnanam varna sankara karakaihi utsadyante jati dharmaha kuladharmascha shashvataha. Very interesting argument. Now he says dharma itself is under peril. He doesn't see that this is why the war has to be fought. Why? Because dharma is under peril. He doesn't see that dharma being under peril. He just brings out another aspect of dharma, which is he doesn't see universal dharma. We'll see this more in detail, but just to introduce, dharma has 3 iterations. From 3 standpoints, we can look at dharma. The first standpoint is what is called universal dharma. Something is always wrong, no matter where, no matter when. It's not that homicide means murder was okay 5,000 years ago, but now it is wrong. No. Murder was always wrong. In any niti, in any country, under any law, taking somebody's life, taking somebody's property, defrauding somebody is what? Always wrong. It's not that it's wrong in this country but right in this country. No. It's always wrong. So this kind of dharma, which is unyielding and universal, meaning there is no ifs and buts about it. This is how it is. It's wrong to take away somebody's life. It's wrong to steal. It's wrong to defraud. It's wrong to cheat. All these things are called universal dharma, aka samanya dharma. Samanya means universal. Same, applicable everywhere at all times in the same way. Then, so if we can make a drawing, you can make a big circle, that is Samanya Dharma. Inside that big circle you make a smaller circle, this will be called Vishesha Dharma. Why is this called Vishesha Dharma? Because the Samanya Dharma is always dynamic. It has to be interpreted in difficult and different situations. We saw the example, Swamiji talked about it. It's like the surgeon cutting into the patient. And even though it is Himsa, what is it talked about as? Ahimsa. Everybody hugs the surgeon, says, "Thank you, doctor, for saving my relative's life." They are all very happy. They are all very, very grateful. Even though the cut is so deep that it will take 6 months for the persons to recover, still doesn't matter, they will be very happy. So, this is Vishesha Dharma. I also gave the example of Rama telling a lie. Remember that? Yeah. Since it did not benefit him, it comes under Vishesha Dharma. So, Vishesha Dharma means the interpretation of Samanya Dharma in specific situations, specific times, specific places. This Samanya Dharma is there, and then Vishesha Dharma means the specific times. There may be even certain countries have certain rules. Like here we drive on the left side. If you go to America, where do you drive? Right side. You drive on the right side. So then American comes here, gets an international license and says, "I am American, I am only going to drive on the right side." What will happen? Namo Namaha. That's what will happen. Yeah. So that inflexibility is called static dharma. Dharma is never static, it is dynamic, and the reason for this is because it is dependent on the dharmin. Dharmi. Dharmi means it is dependent on me who is following the dharma. There is no dharma without dharmi. So if you want to protect dharma, what should you protect? Protect the dharmi, the person who is following the dharma, and then the dharma is naturally protected. And so this is Samanya Dharma, and then a smaller circle you draw within that, because it's Vishesha Dharma is not a circle outside, it is within Samanya Dharma. Samanya Dharma is the be all and end all, and then you have Vishesha Dharma. Inside that now draw an even smaller circle, you can name it Swadharma. This Swadharma means what I have to do. This has two components. It has two components. One is a no-brainer, because what I have to do is already given. If you are a student, what you have to do? Study, simple. And then if you are a householder, you have to be able to take care of the house. If you are a wife, you have to take care of the husband and the family. If you are a husband, you have to take care of the wife and the children. And then if you are an employer, you have to take care of the employees. If you are in the employ, you have to take care of the employers. All these things. You have citizenry also has duties. As an Indian citizen, there are certain things I should do, certain things I am not allowed to do. As an American citizen also, certain things I must not do, certain things I am allowed to do. And so like this, we have to basically keep this in mind when we see this first component of Swadharma, that wherever life places us, it places us with certain responsibilities. I am already born related. Somebody even before I was born claimed me as child, right? I am still in the womb, but then somebody says, "This is my child." And then somebody else says, "This is my niece, my nephew." Somebody else says, "This is my grandchild." Like this, one is born related. And all these relationships come with certain duties attached. Ours is a duty-based society. The West is a rights-based society. All the time, everybody in the West is fighting for the rights, fighting for the rights. Every day, some new movement. Here, we don't believe in outer movement, we are all about inner change. Inner change from ajnanam to jnanam. So therefore, here, it's a no-brainer. There is nothing to fight for, because the duty of the husband becomes automatically the right of the wife when it is done properly, and the duty of the wife becomes the right of the husband, and same way with parents and children and friends and neighbors and citizens and everything. It's a duty-based society, meaning the agency is in our own hands. And so Swadharma means flawlessly doing this kind of whatever is given to me, I have to do. Shakespeare also said something similar. All the world's a stage. Then what? Men and women are but actors. I keep thinking that Shakespeare must have studied some Vedanta. Because this is the message. All the world's a stage. Everybody, all the men and women and children are but actors. So when you come on the stage, sometimes what happens? The other person forgets the lines. You remember your line, but the other person forgets the script. What shall we do now? You can't say, idiot, this person did not do this well, I am getting off the stage. You can't do that in a play. Why? The show must go on. Did you start the show? No. Bhagavan's show. All we have to do is go along with it. So if somebody else forgets their lines, what should I do? I should supply those lines, just like in the play. There is usually the actors know each other's lines also. So supposing somebody forgets to say, come on, let us go tour the gardens. That was the script. This person had to say. This person forgot and just stood there like that. What is that called? Stage fright. Sudden bout of stage fright, stood there like a statue, wondering what to do. And so the other person very creatively has to say, don't you think it will be nice to go to the gardens now? They have to say that, and then that is called prompting. And then suddenly the other person remembers, and then the show goes on. This is the first aspect of Swadharma. Do what you are supposed to do. And then what is the opposite of that? Do not do what you are not supposed to do. This is the first aspect. Then there is a hidden aspect to Swadharma that may not be very obvious, but then there is a yearning towards discovering this aspect, which is answering the question, why have I been born in this particular upadhi? Whether it's a male upadhi or a female upadhi or an upadhi belonging to some other country, American upadhi, European upadhi, African upadhi. Why so many upadhis? It can't be an accident. If all of us were supposed to do only one thing, then we would all look alike and we would all be doing the same thing all the time. But no, and you see this in a small child. Certain children can be soothed very easily. Certain other children, you cannot touch them. Oh my goodness, the fireworks starts, waterworks and fireworks both start. So you have to be very careful. So what does that mean? Where did all this? And sometimes, the parents wonder, was there some exchange in the hospital because this child is not at all like us? The child, don't worry, the child is also wondering. These people are so mean, I'm sure I'm adopted. The child is also wondering that. And so, therefore, this aspect of Swadharma means discovering, giving myself the space in life to discover why I was put on this earth this time around in this particular upadhi. This is the second and the very important component of Swadharma. And sometimes it takes lifetimes to discover. It's not very easy. For some people it's very easy, like Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, and so many other, like Tyagaraja, Purandaradasa, all these musicians. They knew somehow, or they had some epiphany in their life that they immediately were able to discover that their body was a vessel to bring everybody on the path of devotion, to open the hearts up to devotion. All the bhakti movement saints, they discovered that. And they just gave up their body, mind, sense complex in the seva of this particular aspect, the second aspect of Swadharma. But then, that is true for many people. But for most of the people, what is one's dharma in terms of what should I achieve in this life is always elusive. Is always elusive. Why? Because there are many agendas. Even if it were clear, like the right royal road of what I need to do is very clear, I fight tooth and nail to go on that road. What do? I go against. Why? Because the heart is full of agenda. Whatever is there, clear and right in front of me, I do not want to do. Whatever is not there, I want to explore. I want to explore. And then, so sometimes this is how it is. Like certain things is very clear. Like if you want to be a dancer, you just have to have some sense of rhythm. You have to have some percussion. Da, din, din, na, ta, thai, thai, tak. You should know that okay, this is coming after so many things. This is how it should go. And then other thing for a dancer is you should know the difference between left and then what is left. Right? Many people don't know. Many people don't know, and they doggedly want to become dancers. The dance teacher will say ta, and then they will do ta. And then hit the person in the group class, hit the person next to them because they are going in the wrong way. But still they don't leave. Okay, some effort is needed, okay, some coordination is not there, but the thing is, if you keep persevering when it is not in this, not in the prarabdha at this particular time, it will only lead to a kind of an unyielding attitude in the heart, and because of which there is not just grief and delusion, because of which there is apathy. The grief turns into apathy, and I just go on. Nah. Good morning. Nah. Have you had your breakfast? This is the situation. Whole life one goes like that. And so the second component of Swadharma is to discover, is to allow oneself the privilege of discovering that this body, mind, sense complex is not an accident. There is a reason. And it doesn't have to be a grandiose reason. I'm going to be the king of cryptocurrency. Yeah. I'm going to do like that. I'm going to make a lot of money. This is all called delusions of grandeur. We have to be away from that also. Delusions of grandeur means I have big plans, big, huge things. But I don't stop to see if the plans are in tandem with Bhagavan's plans or not. I don't stop to see. I am going to bring about a world's revolution. How are you going to do that? I don't know. But I need helpers. Come on, everybody join me. And some people do. Why? Because they are also trying to discover their own Swadharma, and they get fooled. They get fooled by such people. This is how cults are born. Very dangerous. So these delusions of grandeur and going against whatever is the current is not going to help. So one has to know what is it that one has to do. Like if you look at a machinery, In the machinery, there are many, many complex parts. So, one part is called piston. What does it do? Chuk, 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 chuk. It goes. Or it goes like this. It's moving, it's shaking, it's feeling good about itself. Suppose it had a human mind. We'll just pretend. And then there is what is called a lug nut. Nut. What is the nut supposed to do? Sit still. It has to sit absolutely still. But this nut, pun intended, what did this nut say? Ch.1 is moving so nicely. Chuk, 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 chuk. So nice. Ooh, I also want to move. Then it also tried to move clockwise, nothing happened. Then it said, let me try the other way. Woo-wee! I'm moving. I'm also moving, look. And pretty soon, what happened? The whole machine came crashing down. So no matter how humble, it may seem humble to me, but it's not humble, it's a very important thing to do. It's very, very important. I have to discover the importance by removing the Shobhana Adhyasa of other people's Swadharma and my own, and the Ashobhana Adhyasa of my own Swadharma. I have to do that. And then it becomes very clear what this Swadharma is. So now, with this small introduction, let us go back to the meanings of these verses. Very beautiful here, his argument. So he says that dharma is going to be under duress. Dharma is going to be under very big danger. Why? Because we are creating papa. And not only see there is Vishesha Dharma in the form of family Dharma, Kula Dharma, family Dharma. That we won't tell a lie. This is one example of Kula Dharma. Many families had it in the ancient times. And then another Kula Dharma, we will all be enlightened. We will all study Vedanta. This Shvetaketu's family had this vow. So this is called Kula Dharma. And then certain families, they say, we have to feed 1,000 people. So we have to do that. We have to be in a position to give food for 1,000 people. We have to become Mahashalaha. Mahan Shala Yasya, the one who has big halls for distributing food. So we have to be like that. These are examples of Kula Dharma. And then what happens? The Kula Dharma perishes because the family is destroyed. The ancient dharmas of the family perish. And when the dharma perishes, what happens? Adharma is on the rise. This is what, 41 says. Adharma overpowers dharma. And then what happens when adharma overpowers? Then he looks at the specific situation of the war. All the children are going to be what? Fatherless. And the women are going to be husbandless. Sad situation. And then we have seen time and again in times of war, what happens? When does the kingdom fall? When all the men have been taken over. This is why, unfortunately, we had this pratha, this custom of Jauhar. Jauhar means all the queens, the wives of the chieftains, etc., rather than be conquered by a foreign power, they would just have a huge bonfire and immolate themselves when they saw that the kingdom is not going to be in their hands. So does that mean women can't be queens? Yes, they can. We have many wonderful examples of queens, etc. But we are talking of the general situation. And also, by the time the Mahabharata was written, the situation of women had already come down from what it was in the Vedic times. So we must not think Arjuna is being a misogynist or Arjuna is being sexist. No, Arjuna and Vyasa, for that matter, is writing about how things were in those times. This is how it was. So then, if the women are bereft of the men folk, then what will happen? Then they will be overpowered by a foreign power. And if they are overpowered by a foreign power, all the dharmas will go. And why? Because there will be a mix-up. It is called Varna Sankaraha, mix-up of this and that. This, the foreigners and the particular people of Bharata Desha. There is a mix-up. You can say, what's wrong? Let there be a mix-up. After all, this is the age of interfaith marriage, interreligious this, and intercultural, intercontinental marriage. All that, nothing wrong. Nothing wrong now. In those days, it was against Kula Dharma. We have to understand that. We are looking at a particular slice of Indian history or mythology, historical mythology, however you want to take it. We are looking at a particular slice. In those times, this was no, cannot do that. Okay? And so, therefore, pradushyanti kulastriyaha. Pradushyanti doesn't mean they go bad, it just means they will be overpowered. And then, what will happen if they are overpowered? There is a Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara means that they are neither here nor there. They lose their own dharma and then they are not able to adjust to the dharma of the invaders. Because if these two, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, perish, then all the invaders from the neighboring countries will come and then take over. And then what happens is that they are not able to protect themselves, and then as a result, a very important Kula Dharma will go away. In fact, it is very important part of Hindu Dharma, offering tarpanam, offering, what is that called? Offerings to ancestors. Offerings made to ancestors. Once a year, for a whole month it used to be there, but then we have an adage, Paksho Vai Masaha. Let 15 days be considered a month. So now it comes somewhere late September. 15 days is called Pitrupaksha. This is communal offering to all the ancestors. Ancestor festival, not just in India. You go to Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, everywhere it is done. There it is called Hungry Ghost Festival. It is called Hungry Ghost because maybe in Japan also it is done. Do you have Hungry Ghost Festival in Japan? Yeah. See, in Japan also it is there. So, the hungry ghost, who is this hungry ghost? A departed soul. A departed jiva. Departed jiva is called hungry ghost. It's a picture also. Big stomach, but a needle-like throat, meaning cannot assimilate. So this was the circumstances of the death, meaning they had far more desires than they could fulfill. So we, as their relatives, surviving relatives, give tarpanam for them to get a better place in wherever the ancestral place they are in. So we offer this offering of til, rice, etc. Sesame, til is sesame, right? Yeah. Black sesame seeds, rice, ghee, etc. is given as offerings. So now, if the women are overpowered, the men are killed, who is going to do the yajnas? Because the men are going to, the marauding men, the new foreign powers, they are going to have their own kula dharmas. They are going to force, or maybe they have no dharma. They are going to force their ways on the whole society. So then the ancestors become lupta pindodaka kriyaha. Pindodaka kriya is tarpanam. Offering pinda. Pinda means ball. Offering these balls, it's called pinda. Pinda kriya means the act of offering the balls. Lupta pindodaka kriya, udaka, water also is offered. Lupta pindodaka kriya means those who are vanchita. Vanchita means bereft of this particular offering. So then our Papa is not just extending to this world. Our Papa is going to the Pitriloka also. Now their shrapa, their bad feelings, and this will create omissions, and these omissions will have an effect on making our lives even more miserable. This is his argument. And then Jati Dharma is gone, Kula Dharma is gone. All these things, the beautiful things about the Hindu culture, is all lost forever. And then Utsanna Kula Dharmanam Ka Priti Syat. Manushyanam Janardana Narake Niyatam Vasaha Bhavati iti Shushruma. Shushruma, we have heard. What have we heard? For these violators of all this dharma, family dharma, this dharma, that dharma, what happens? There is a consequence. What is the consequence? Narake niyatam vasaha. Long stay, yeah, in the Airbnb called Naraka. Somebody told me this, that's why I got this example. Somebody said, we just went as a family on a holiday somewhere in America. And they said, we went on, we took a house for the whole family. They took one 4 or 5 bedroom house, Airbnb, through this company. And then what happened when they went there? It was completely trashed, totally trashed. Everywhere there was all kinds of rubbish. It hadn't been cleaned. It was just a nightmare with all kinds of cockroaches and everything like that. So then, with this kind of a life, without getting the blessings of the ancestors, without following our dharma, dharma is the one that's going to make me into a responsible person worthy of this culture. And without this dharma, I am gone, everybody is gone, and then the consequences are a long, long stay in Naraka. Naraka means there is 7 types of Naraka, 7 types of Swarga, 7 types of Naraka. 7 up, 7 down. So, Bhuhu, these are the good ones. Let us look at first. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Satyam is also called Brahmaloka. And then down below we have Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Dharatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and then Patala. Nether worlds. Meaning nether means not that they are down below, they can be right next to us. It's like a parallel reality which is invisible, we cannot see. But down means worse than earth. That is what it is. So in any of these realms of Naraka, we will be dwelling for a great length of time. And then he says in verse 45, Aho batamahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanamudyata yadi mama pratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtrarane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. Okay, so aho bata means oh alas. It's a cry of despair. Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam. We are getting ready to do the worst kind of papa in the universe. We are getting ready to do the worst kind of papa in the universe. And yadrajya sukhalobhena, which is this papa which is done because of the lobha. Lobha means what? Greed, avarice. Because of the greed of kingdom and some idea of happiness, Hantum swajanam udyataha vayam. We are ready to kill our own kind, our own relatives, our own people. We are ready to kill. How lowly can we go? How can we sink like this? And then he finally comes to a very troubling conclusion. Yadi mam apratikaram mam. Meaning, it is better for Dhritarashtra's sons to kill me who is unarmed and who is not going to retaliate. Ashastram mam apratikaram mam. Mam means me, second case. So mam apratikaram mam, a non-retaliatory me, and then ashastram mam. And the one that does not have, ashastram means what? Disarmed me. Meaning I am not holding the arms. He has already decided. He'll just go as a fodder, and then the first few arrows will just kill me. It will be over. Dhartarashtraha, the sons of Dhritarashtraha, rane hanyo, let them kill. Tanme kshemataram bhavet, it will be better for me. A very sad and troubling conclusions on many, many counts. And then Sanjaya concludes the chapter. Sanjaya uvacha evam uktva Arjuna sankhye rathopastha upavishat visrijya sasharam chapam shoka samvigna manasaha. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyayah. So Sanjaya concludes. What does he say? Evam uktva. Having said this. Having said what? Having said all these things, he had a monologue. He gave a lecture to Lord Krishna. He gave a lecture to Lord Krishna on the subject matter of dharma. Okay? Yeah, that's because he is deluded. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who Krishna is either. So then, what did he do? Eva muktva, Arjuna, Sankhye. Sankhye means in the battlefield, in the middle of the battlefield. Ratha upastha upavishat. Sat down on the seat of the chariot. You are not supposed to sit. Seat is just provided, but you are not supposed to sit there. You are a warrior. You are not sitting in the chariot to have some tea and photo op. Let's see how nice it will be to sit in a chariot. No. You are there to fight. You are supposed to be standing. You are supposed to be ready. But he doesn't even sit. He sinks in the seat. Rathopastha upavishat. And then Sasharam chapam, the arrow and the bow, all of them slip to the side of the floor of the chariot, along with his self-esteem, which is also at the floor of the chariot, and he is drowning in the chariot. Oh, was there a flood? Yes, his own tears. So, Visrijya Sasharam Chapam, along with the Shara, the arrows, Chapam, bow, Shoka Samvigna Manasaha. Shoka Samvigna Manasaha means completely overcome by sadness. So, he is just bobbing up and down in the chariot, glub, 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 from his own tears, comes up for air, and then what does he do? Goes back. Comes up again for air, goes back. So, this is the situation where we leave him we leave Arjuna in a very troubled place at the end of the first chapter. Now we have a we have a little thing that is a later interpolation which is chanted after every chapter. When the Bhagavad Gita was composed, there was no chapter 1, chapter 2. It was all just one thing. Some Mahatma made these chapters for ease of understanding, remembering, etc. So here is the end of the first chapter. So we say Om Tat Sat. Om is a name for Bhagavan. That alone is Sat. That alone is the only existent thing. That alone is there. Nothing else is there. And then iti, in this manner, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su, in the Bhagavad Gita. So we can just say Gitayam, but Gita Su, plural. Plural is for the sake of what? Respect. For respect we say Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is like an Upanishad, Upanishad Su, because the message of the Bhagavad Gita, the message of the Upanishad are one and the same. Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su, Upanishad Su, and then and there are two topics in this. What are the topics? Brahma Vidya, Brahma Vidyayam, in this topic called Brahma Vidya, and the other one is Yoga Shastra. So how to do asanas, right? Next chapter is going to discuss. No, here yoga means karma yoga. Karma yoga. How to live in this world without hurting myself and hurting others. That is karma yoga. How to live in this world gracefully, without rubbing against people, against situations. How to live a devout life by seeing everything as Bhagavan. This is karma yoga. And how to finally make my work itself, turn my work into worship. This is karma yoga. So this karma yoga, which is a very important thread topic, Brahma Vidya, the teaching that I am nothing other than Brahman, I am limitless and not afflicted by anything. This is the Brahma Vidya. And then Yoga Shastra, Karma Yoga Shastra, in this Gita, which has these two topics, which is presented how? In a Samvada. Samvada means dialogue. What kind of dialogue? Special dialogue. The word Samvada is used only for teacher-student dialogue. We have many words for conversations. One is Vada, between two friends. Oh, today is Wednesday. What shall we do? One says. And then the other one says, let's go to this temple. No, forget temples. Let's go for lunch, the other one says. So then, what happened? Vada. Each one is presenting their point of view and what they want to do. Then we have Samvada, a respectful dialogue. Not that the teacher is demanding respect. We should, but the student has respect in their hearts. Teacher does not demand respect. But for the dialogue to be fruitful, the student must be having the temperament to listen. Otherwise, it's wasted. So this is called Samvada. And we will see how Arjuna is asks the right kind of questions at the right time, in the right way. We will see that. It's such a blessing. It's wonderful. So then, that is Samvada. Then we have a third kind of dialogue called Jalpa. Jalpa means, you say whatever you want, I'll say whatever I want. This is how all the interfaith meetings are. Each one comes, talks about their own religion and goes away. There's no common thing found, there is nothing. Okay? And so this is what is called Jalpa. As though this was not bad enough, there is one more kind of Vada called Vitanda. Whatever you say is wrong. Why? Because you said it. Because you say it, it is wrong. So here, what kind of a dialogue is it? Samvada. Samvada. A dialogue that is fruitful in removing ajnanam, layers and layers of ajnanam and anyatha jnanam, that which is effective in removing, that is what is called Samvada. Krishna-Arjuna Samvade, Because the Upanishad is also based on what? Samvada. Bhagavad Gita is also based on Samvada. And then Krishna Arjuna Samvade, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga Nama. Nama means that which has the name Arjuna Vishada Yoga. The yoga here means topic. That which has the name, meaning that which covers the topic of Arjuna's sorrow and delusion. So, Arjuna Vishada Yoga Nama Prathamodhyaya. This concludes the first chapter. Very beautiful, very nice. So, the first chapter, that is how it is concluded. And then a few more remarks we can make here, a small remark. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Brahmavidyayam Yoga Shastre, Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Prathamodhyaya. So, why do we leave him grieving like this? If that is the question, why not leave him at a good note? Because this is how the Upanishad and the Bhagavad Gita keep you going. Then if it is left at this note, everybody wants to know what happened next. And then so everybody will come tomorrow for the class because they'll be wondering, iske baad kya hua? What happened after this? How did he recollect his, mind, etc., etc. So that is why it's always what is called in TV parlance, it is called cliffhanger. Cliffhanger means you just leave it at a suspenseful, even these stupid serials and all, they do that. What do? They leave it on some kind of a supposedly mysterious precipice, so that you are addicted to it, you have to hook in tomorrow. Bhagavad Gita also has to make us hook in because the desire is not fully there yet. We have just a wavering, tiny mumukshutvam at this stage. We are still struggling to keep all other things at bay, and so therefore this ancient trick of the Upanishad is what the cable TV has learnt from and leaves us hanging. So now, finally, let us look at the summary. Verse number 1 to 20 is battle preparations. Battle preparations and the declaration of war constitutes verse 1 to 20. Okay. And then verse 21 to 25 is Arjuna having his what is that called? Ordering Lord Krishna, Arjuna's epiphany. First he orders Lord Krishna to come and put him in the middle of the battlefield so he can survey the army. And then immediately he realizes, bad idea, should not have done this. Okay, so that is verse 21 to 25. From 26 onwards, we have a description of Arjuna's grief. So it starts 26, 27 it starts, and then it goes up to let's see where it goes up to. It goes up to 35. Goes up to 35. And then his description of Arjuna's grief. 36 to 47, we have a description of Arjuna's delusion as a result of grief. As a result of grief, he loses his courage, he loses his sense of what is reason, sense of mind, he has lost his reason. So, first is shoka, and the second one is what? Moha. Shoka samvigna manasaha, it says in the concluding verse, and then we should also add moha samvigna manasaha api. And then therefore this concludes the first chapter. We can stop here, come back tomorrow and see what is next. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. There is some dakshina from yesterday. Those who are taking dakshina, please.